On April 18, 2012, Dean Hall uploaded a mod to the Bohemia Interactive forums titled DayZ Zombie RPG. What would come of this mod is well known. It became a huge hit, bringing hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales for its source game, Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead. But besides encouraging Bohemia Interactive to make more buggy piece of shit games, they encouraged everyone in the industry to make more buggy piece of shit games, and thus, the birth of a genre. The DayZ mod created, or at least exposed to the mainstream, the survival genre. It took parts of games like Stalker and implemented them into Arma's military simulator framework. The result? A huge world with dozens of people looking to kill you. The survival genre generated millions of dollars for any half-assed game. For instance, only a month after the release of the DayZ mod, Arma 2's sales went up 500%. So naturally, many clones quickly hit the field, seeking to cut a piece of the pie. Games such as Rust Legacy, The War Z, and 7 Days to Die. These games also often utilized the early access feature on Steam as a crutch. This led to the term early access being synonymous with low-quality piece of shit games. But hey, it's not the developer's fault, it's still in early access. You are lucky to be able to pay full price for a half-finished game that will never see a release date. This led to the entire genre getting a nasty reputation of being all terrible cash grabs, which, arguably, they were. Of course, there were genuinely inventive and decent games being created, but they were few and far between. In the vast oceans of multiplayer survival games, the developers had to adapt or die. In the case of Rust and H1Z1, it was especially important to adapt. At this point, they were simply worse versions of DayZ. Albeit, Rust Legacy did offer its fair share of unique gameplay concepts. After the initial survival genre hype began to die off, these games themselves were on the edge of dying. Rust in 2013 was in its legacy stage, similar in concept to modern Rust, but with far worse graphics, a clunky building system, and with fairly little to do. In 2014, Facepunch, presumably fed up with their self-admitted DayZ clone, sought a clean slate, and another chance at making their game. With this, they released Rust Experimental, a new and improved version of Rust with brand new and impressive graphics, while still keeping the character and scheme of Legacy. Now, in 2018, Rust is a fantastic survival game, and, in my opinion, the best current survival game. It has a unique identity separated from the bland majority of the genre. Oh, and if you haven't already, you should go watch my video on Rust. Or those of you who came from that video, hello! Now back to H1Z1. In its early development, this game had tons of hype surrounding it, and to many, was a major disappointment upon release. Now the game was a blatant DayZ ripoff, and managed to miss the entire heart of what made DayZ great. In 2016 though, the developers took what had been a popular unofficial mod for Arma and Minecraft, and turned it into an official game. Battle Royale. In 2016, they added a King of the Kill mode to H1Z1, which I assume everyone watching is aware of the Battle Royale concept. This mode was highly popular for a short time, before, inevitably, being replaced. In this way, these two games reinvented themselves from their DayZ clone roots, but it didn't turn out perfectly for both of them. Rust managed to create an irreplaceable concept, without creating an entire new genre. They made something very rare, just a plain and simple good game. Meanwhile, H1Z1, in a parallel to DayZ, took something somewhat forgotten and unexposed to the mainstream and popularized it. H1Z1, in an attempt to rejuvenate their game, ended up killing themselves by creating an entire new problem: the Battle Royale genre. 2018's video game industry is directly paralleling the reaction to DayZ's success. Look at the events after H1Z1 copied an Arma 2 Battle Royale mod. This mod developer decided to fight back and decided to create his own, officially released, Battle Royale game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PUBG was a huge success, breaking Steam records on concurrent players and selling more than 50 million copies as of July of 2018. Now what have we learned about what happens when a game is successful? That's right, copycats! Now that literally every developer is rushing to throw out their own unique spin on the genre. For instance, Dying Light, Battle Royale but with zombies. Black Ops Blackout, Call of Duty but this time in a big map. The Calling 2, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds but if it was on the Game Boy Color. Oh, and just for fun and to piss people off, Fortnite, Battle Royale but for 12-year-olds. PUBG, Battle Royale but... What happened? What happened, PUBG? Now we've come back to the DayZ parallel. Just as there were millions of DayZ clones, now there are millions of Battle Royale clones. There are endless bland and unoriginal games with no identity being released every day. Very few of them have any redeeming features besides some unique visual approach or remaking a game but now with a Battle Royale mode. Now, just as Rust and H1Z1 had to, these developers must strike out and reinvent their games. The ever-progressing genre trends are pushed by innovation, or reinventing old concepts. And so now we must wait and see what these games do to rejuvenate the genre. Just like H1Z1 went from 10 concurrent players to, for a short while, being the #1 streamed game on Twitch, forgetting what happened soon after that. Who knows, maybe a game like The Calling 2 will do something to become the next cultural mega hit. Just kidding. Nobody knows what the future holds for the survival genre, but it will surely grow and adapt as it already has, and perhaps our next phase will be better than this current one.